real life. So I'm going to show you how to make my favorite homemade mayonnaise. I like to make my own because then I know I'm getting good healthy fats. I really try to avoid like industrial seed oils like canola oil, safflower and sunflower oil, soybean oil, things like that. So I like to make my own with good healthy, good quality oils. And it's really easy and really inexpensive, and I think it tastes better. So the recipe I use is from this great cookbook, Well Fed. If you guys don't have this, and I wonder if you have ideas for ground turkey. Sure, we can talk about that later, maybe after my demo. So if you don't have this book, it's one of my absolute favorites. Hey Maria, thanks for joining. Thanks, you're so sweet. So it's one of my favorites. I've cooked almost every recipe from it. All of them pretty much are Whole30 approved too, so if you're doing like a sugar detox or something like that, this is really great. I think the recipes are really flavorful. She has some fun like ethnic international flair to her recipes while they're still pretty simple and just like really satisfying. So the mayonnaise recipe that I like is in this book. It's also on her website. The author here is Melissa Julwan, and her website is theclothesmakethegirl.com. I don't know why, but that's her website. You can find the recipe on there. But I really recommend grabbing this book. Her chocolate chili recipe, I'll flip to it real quick, is like one of my absolute favorites. Good. I'm surprised you don't have it. It's really good, Maria. She has Well Fed 2 as well. That's really good. But this one, I literally cook like everything in it, and I love it. Alright, so mayonnaise is really simple. Only a few ingredients. You're going to have oil. So, yeah. What I like to use is light olive oil. That's what she recommends in the recipe as well. What's nice about this is that it's good, heart-healthy, omega-3 fats from the oils, but it's light tasting. If you use extra virgin olive oil in this recipe, it's going to really taste like olive oil. So that distinct olive flavor, which is delicious, but not necessarily very versatile. Maybe not what you want to put on like your turkey sandwich with grain-free bread or whatever. I put it on my boyfriend's sandwiches, but I really like this. You could also do avocado oil as another nice neutral flavored oil. So, and I've seen people make mayonnaise with like bacon fat if you want to get really crazy. It's probably delicious. I've never tried it. I actually did make it one time with coconut oil. I did like half of this and half coconut oil, and it was nice. It kind of had that light coconut flavor and was like slightly sweet tasting, which if you're used to like best foods, or yeah, I don't even know what mayonnaise is called anymore. If you're used to normal store mayonnaise, which usually has sugar and is kind of sweet, it might be nice to try it with the half coconut oil because you get a little bit of that sweetness naturally from the coconut. But this is what I use. Your other ingredients are an egg. Here's a trick for you too. Yeah, avocado oil is great, and I do a lot of cooking with avocado oil. I love it. If you watched my Periscope yesterday, I talked about that a bit. I think it should still be up. I think it's still up for the replay. So here's another trick for you. The recipe calls for, you're probably wondering why my egg is like swimming right now. Recipe calls for room temperature eggs. I usually don't have enough forethought to like put my egg out on the counter to get it to room temperature before I think about making my mayonnaise. So I put mine in hot water for like 5-10 minutes just to bring up the temperature of the egg. Yeah, so that way if you're kind of in a pinch, fill up something with hot water, get your egg in it, just get it up to room temperature so that you can use it right away and don't have to wait hours. So I'm going to drain this real quick. So have the egg, and then it's just salt and mustard powder and some fresh lemon juice. So I make mine in a food processor. What are you eating mayo with? Sandwich only. So my boyfriend still eats sandwiches. I'm not the sort of like paleo Nazi or whatever that's gonna say that he has to eat paleo all the time. So that's convenient for him, and that's what he chooses to eat. I'm just glad I'm putting like real mayonnaise on it, and I get him organic bread. So he eats them on sandwiches. I use my mayonnaise in like tuna salad, or chicken salad, salmon salad, things like that, where I'm mixing the mayonnaise in, and I just eat that out of a bowl, or like dip pepper strips in it and eat it like that. Or I've got those paleo wraps that I really like. Yeah, and like everything I cook for dinner is paleo, and he eats it. Like that's what he gets because I made it, right? So what he wants to do when he eats out and stuff, that's up to him, but I cook paleo and keep sort of a paleo kitchen. So I'm making my mayonnaise in my food processor. You could do this in a blender as long as you can like pop the top open when it's running. And yeah, you could make dressings and stuff too with it. You could make, like I made a paleo ranch dressing out of my homemade mayonnaise. I added like coconut milk and dill and chives, things like that. It was really good. You can use a blender. Some people use like those stick blenders in a jar. I haven't tried that method. This just really works well for me, and I feel like if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Like it works well, so I'm going to keep doing it this way in the food processor. So I'm going to crack my egg in here. And yes, this does use raw egg. I'm not concerned about it. Get good quality eggs. I get like from Whole Foods. I've got cage-free, non-GMO, project verified eggs. You know, pasture-raised organic eggs are great. You want a fresh egg too. Make sure that it's nice and fresh. Your mayonnaise is going to last longer too hey Jimmy, if your eggs are fresh. So that's a good tip as well. So I'm not worried about the raw egg. Maybe if you're like pregnant, have some different like immunity issues, you might be more concerned about that, and you could probably find a recipe that uses like a coddled egg where it's technically cooked. But I've never gotten sick. I'm not worried about it. Yeah, exactly. If you have a compromised immune system, then you might be worried about it, but I'm not. I've never been sick off mayonnaise. Use good quality egg, you should be good to go. So eggs going in there. I've got 2 tablespoons of lemon juice. I used fresh lemon. It was about a whole lemon's worth of juice. You can use a bottled juice. Yeah, pasture-raised, local. You know, they haven't gone a long way. They're not made by chickens that are, you know, getting a bunch of antibiotics and aren't healthy. So yeah, they do try to scare us. It's like, heaven forbid something stays out on the counter for more than 4 hours. We're going to die. It's like, we've got strong immune systems if you, like, let them do their thing. So 2 tablespoons of lemon juice. You can use bottled lemon juice. Melissa, who made this recipe, actually recommends bottled just because the acidity is, like, more regulated. But I use fresh lemon juice, and it's great. You can also use, like, apple cider vinegar, but the lemon flavor I really like. So 2 tablespoons of that, and then just half a teaspoon of salt. I use Redmond real salt, that's my favorite, but sea salt, anything like that's great. And a half a tablespoon of, thanks so much Jimmy, I really appreciate that. I saw you featured me on your scope the other day, and I was like, so excited, you're the best. Yeah, have you ever made your own homemade mayo? It's like game-changing. Okay, so half a teaspoon of dry mustard powder. Mayonnaise. Yeah, so good. It's like life-changing. I don't really like mayonnaise, but I love this. Alright, and then, so that's in the food processor, and then you're going to start with just a 1/4 cup of your oil to get it going. So put a 1/4 cup in there to start. And I'm going to blend that real quick just to get that all together. So it'll get loud for a second. Wretched oil. What do you mean wretched oil? This is olive oil. It's healthy. Okay, good. Like, fat's good. Did you see my hashtag for the scope? Fat is good for you. Alright, blend this real quick. I love too when I use like good real eggs, so you're fine. That thanks for sharing, Jessie. That such a beautiful yellow color from those fresh yolks. So actually, I don't need to take this off. So this is where you want to have a food processor or blender where you can just take like the little spout thing out, so you can pour in. Oh no, I messed up the hashtag. Shoot. Well, fat is good for you and yoy. Yeah, fat is so satiating. I mean, if you're hungry all the time, like I used to do Weight Watchers, I used to count calories, I did low fat, high fiber, everything, and I would be hungry all the time because my body was like, give me some fuel. I can't work off of these processed grains and low fat junk. Yeah, so I said earlier, if you missed this, I use light olive oil, so it doesn't have that strong olive flavor. if you don't, like, I agree, extra virgin olive oil is going to be way too strong of flavor in this. Yeah, I did vegetarian for like a month and gained a bunch of weight and like was just really unhappy. I was like, vegetarian food isn't healthy, I'm just eating pizza. I don't know what engine 2 is. So yeah, light olive oil or the avocado oil is another really great option for this. But the light has a really neutral flavor, so that's good. Just don't do like canola or soybean or safflower or just straight up vegetable oil. No good. All right, so I'm going to measure out another cup of oil. All right, and this is where bacon, yeah, I was saying that if you have like leftover bacon drippings, you could supplement some of the oil with that. Macadamia nut would probably be really great. I've never tried it. It's probably going to be kind of like a nice sweet nutty flavor. I was saying earlier that if you want to do part olive oil and part coconut oil, that's really great. It has sort of like a natural sweetness that I like. The macadamia nut oil might be great too. I would probably, it's expensive, the thing is, so I would probably like cut it like half olive or avocado and half macadamia. And if you're using like bacon fat or coconut oil that's solid, make sure that you melt it so that it's liquid and then let it cool a bit so it's not hot. You don't want to like get it in there and cook your eggs. Yeah, avocado oil works well. So I'm going to blend this, and it's going to be loud, and it takes about 2 solid minutes to blend. So if you guys want to ask your questions and stuff like that, maybe I'll move a little closer so I can see you better while I'm doing this. But the real key with making your own mayonnaise is that you need to stream the oil in really slowly, especially at first. You kind of drizzle it in. And then you can kind of pick up the pace a little bit towards the end, but I usually look at the clock and note the time and tell myself, like, don't get that oil in any faster than 2 minutes. So if you're going at that sort of pace, you're going to be good. I've never messed this one up, so yeah, stream the oil in slowly. So my other trick too is it can kind of spit up at you sometimes, so I like to put like a towel on the other side of the spout just to like shield myself from oil spit so I don't ruin my clothes. And let me move you guys over here real fast. It'll be loud because I'll be kind of up in it, but I want to show you how I'm drizzling this and how slow it's going to be. Oop, sorry, finger. So, I'm going to turn this on, so pardon the noise. So here's my oil. So, a nice little stream going in, and I'm just going to do this for a couple minutes. So let me turn this off real fast. I'm just going to set you guys back here, and if you guys want to ask any questions you have about paleo or food ideas, anything like that, whilst I'm blending, I will try to speak loudly over the blender. Anyone? Yeah, it's so good and so easy. Stunned silence. I scared you guys. I'm nice. Oh yeah, ground turkey. Okay. Can you guys hear me still? Yes? Okay. This is like kind of hard to do. So ground turkey ideas, I mean, if you're using ground turkey, because, yes, avocado oil is a great option. Jimmy can't hear me. Turn up your volume. I'll yell at you. Ground turkey, first of all, I recommend dark meat ground turkey just because it has more flavor and some more fat in it. But if you're doing, are you doing ground turkey because you want it because it's low fat, or do you just not like red meat? We're making mayonnaise. Yeah, so if you're doing ground turkey because it's lean and you're, you know, trying to avoid fat, fat isn't the enemy here. And you'll learn that if you start eating paleo, fat is an essential nutrient. You need it in your diet. So don't be afraid of fat, first of all, especially if it's good quality animals. So if you are getting like organic grass-fed pastured beef, there's no reason to be afraid of that fat or the cholesterol. I really recommend picking up the book, It Starts With Food. That's a really good like intro to paleo and why it's good for you, and why saturated fat and cholesterol aren't really an issue, and how that was sort of just faulty science that's leading our whole idea of nutrition these days. Yeah, Jimmy Has Cholesterol Clarity, that's a great book too. Fat isn't the enemy, it's just you want to get the right kind of fat, and that's why I'm making my own mayonnaise, because I'm using good healthy fat. I don't know if you guys can hear this, but the pitch of the food processor sort of changes as it starts to emulsify. You can hear it getting thicker. Almost done pouring the oil in. But yeah, I mean, ground turkey, you can just use like you would use ground beef. You know, if you want to put it in a chili or make burgers, curry, I think you said, is great. Just get the dark meat. It has more flavor. I have nothing against poultry or anything like that. It's great, but red meat isn't anything you need to fear. Yeah, you can refer a website. I don't mind. There's lots of great resources out there. Trying to lower your cholesterol. So, what do you usually eat? Sorry, my thing's like telling me my battery's low. Thank you. I'm glad you like it. So, I got all the oil in. I'm just going to do a quick scrape down and blend it again real fast. I'm trying to do more. You know, Periscope's still pretty new to me. I've been doing it a couple of weeks, but definitely doing kitchen demos. And if you follow me on Twitter and stuff, I put up like the catch.me replays so you can see them. If you don't care for olive oil, hold on, I'll show you what I use. Avocado oil, sorry. So I'm just scraping this real quick, guys, because it kind of, you know, gets up on the sides, but you can see, yum. Yeah, food scopes are fun. Especially love just like, I feel like Periscope's so impromptu and like unscripted and just fun. So, salad, coconut oil, fish, chicken, fruit, grapeseed oil. It's not the worst, but, oh, thank you. Yes, hearts, I love hearts. This is the oil I used, guys, if you popped in late. It's a light olive oil. So it's pretty neutral tasting and good heart-healthy omega-3 fats. So that's a good option aside from the avocado oil. That's another one. Oh, you mean grapes or grapeseed oil? Yeah, cholesterol is very important for hormone balance. I learned that when I found out I had like 0 progesterone in my body and low adrenals. Low cortisol levels. I learned about that whole complex with cholesterol and how do you lower inflammation. That really has a lot to do with your diet, so cutting out the grains, especially gluten. A lot of times if you're dealing with inflammation, you might want to do autoimmune protocol, so cutting out nightshades. Fatworks, I haven't tried them. They're like tallow and lard. I haven't. They're expensive. Doesn't mean they're not worth it, but I find like animal fats when I'm cooking with them, oftentimes the flavor is just like, you know, really beefy, and I don't necessarily want that, but can be good. I've used lard a few times for cooking. I think it's great. So, okay, my mayonnaise is done. So let's look at it. Yum. So you can see texture-wise, it's pretty thick. Sorry, the light's a little bad. It will get a little thicker once I have it in the fridge and it sets up. But I just keep this in a jar in my fridge, and you know, usually lasts for at least a week or two. I honestly just go until there's mold on it. I probably shouldn't say that. I should probably just say like a week and you're good. But I feel like as long as it's not like off colored or off smelling, I eat it. I know, right? But I've heard people say like it lasts as long as your eggs do. I think that's pushing it. Like the expiration date on my eggs is October 18th. If I had this in my fridge for a month, I'm not so sure it's going to last that long. Yeah, I usually eat mine before it goes bad. I use some like every day. And just so you guys know again, the recipe that I used was from this book, Well Fed, one of my favorite paleo cookbooks. I love all the recipes in it. They're delicious. It's got the mayonnaise recipe in here, and it is also on her website. If you Google Melissa Julwan mayo, it should pop up. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, Jules, it's a great book, isn't it? Have you made the chocolate chili? I make that in my crock pot, like, pretty often. It's really good. That's one of my absolute favorites. Just a lot of great recipes in here. Fun new flavors. Yeah, her brine chicken. You'll never have dry chicken again if you do it like she does. I just really like things are different. I feel like it's, easy to get bored. And she's got like, Rogan Josh, so just like really intense spices that are really different and really good way to make your food delicious without being complicated. So I highly recommend this book. Alright guys, do you have any other questions about mayonnaise or fat or paleo or anything like that before I check out? I will wait a second. Her Sri Lankan curry, yeah, I've made like every recipe in her book and everyone's spot on, delicious. I haven't cooked quite as many from her Well Fed 2 book, but the ones I've tried have been good. But I've cooked pretty much everything out of this one. Thank you. Thanks so much. What's your name? Tenacious. Thank you for watching. Yay, I'm so glad you guys watched. Thank you for sharing with your followers. Those of you who invited people, thank you so much for all the hearts. Jessica, welcome to my scopes. Be sure to click the little follow button and follow me for more recipes, paleo tips. I'll probably do a scope of my freezer soon. I did my pantry yesterday. I thought I'd show you my freezer and my meat stash. I'm not sure if I'll do it tomorrow. My weekends, I really devote to my boyfriend and my family and spending time with them. So you're absolutely welcome. Please share, watch the replay. And yeah, be sure to follow me. And if you guys have any other questions after this, like if you're watching this on the rebroadcast, tweet me a question, or you can follow me on Instagram. Ask me questions over there. My Instagram is Carly, CARLYS629. So that's my Instagram handle if you want to go change it. I follow it. I should probably change it so everything's the same and be simpler. But thanks, Jessie. Have a great weekend as well. I'll catch you all later. Bye.